Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so calling this meeting to order, I would like a motion to accept the regular minutes from last meeting of 8/22/2022.
So moved.
So moved.
Everybody's
Second.
Rebecca, Cindy and Rebecca. Are there any comments, questions, corrections to the minutes?
No.
No, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. At this point, we will open it to public comment. If there is anyone in the public who'd like to speak. If you would stand up and say your name.
My name is Michael Fuhr. I represent the business at 2807, and I was just looking to make a public comment and share some information about my business.
Sure.
Great. I have some photos I'd like to share. I'm able to share this with you. Would you like me to email them over to you at another time?
Can you email them here so that we can make them public?
Yeah, I can email them for public, or I can show you now at this point.
Sure, you can do that.
Meeting, whatever will work for you guys.
If you email it to me now, I can make them public.
Okay.
Unless you're tied in with Zoom. It's
I am
just,
not.
okay, it's just that there are board members who are on Zoom who we can share.
It would be hard for me to get to you at this moment.
Oh,
but I
okay.
can, just because they're on
Oh,
iPad.
Sure,
They're not in an actual file bank, so I can email them over after the meeting whenever they.
that would be fine. Yeah, that'd be fine, and we'll just show them
Okay.
through that. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
So in the last meeting, you guys were having, I heard around old business part 5 and 6, a discussion of my name and my property. A lot of them were mischaracterizations and not truthful. So I just wanted to come to just address what my business is and exactly what I do so that everyone can be understanding of that.
Okay,
Just so I can share that. So
absolutely.
like I said, my name is Michael Fuhr. I run the business at 2807. The business is Jessup Energy Solutions. We install solar systems in off-grid homes, tiny homes, schoolies, vans, RVs, anything to do with off-grid or recreation. I've done projects in the Adirondacks already and also across the entire United States.
Okay,
I've currently lived in town for over 5 years. I call this place home, and I've been trying to bring my business here for over these past 5 years, and I've finally been able to find a place to bring it.
yes,
So I've been trying to clean up a lot, bring a business there, and hopefully within the next year serve the RV community in the Hamilton County area in Adirondacks, as the closest location to this area is over 100 miles away.
yes.
So our entire area, all of our camps, Duran, over in Louis Lake, over in our local area, there's no one to service RVs, solar off-grid power, and that is one reason why I want to bring my business to this town. I previously worked in shops in Colorado, Florida, Seattle, California, and I've been wanting to bring it here and bring it to this town. And at that point, upon the last meeting, I really felt a little combative on the fact that there were quite a few mischaracterizations of myself. And I just wanted to share this with you. So I
Absolutely.
do have some photos here that I
Okay.
want to share with you of some of the work that we do, just
Sure.
to get an idea. I understand that the lot's getting cleaned up, as I'm sure many of you know.
Yes, which is
I'm
great.
sure that you guys have seen a lot of, right now, buses, very few RVs and one van at this point. But here are some presentations of what we actually do.
Okay.
So this is a bus that I built in the last 5 years. This is a snowmobile camper that we built out in Colorado for, the steamboat area and things like that.
Okay.
We can totally build these in this area and serve our snowmobiling community. Here's another photo of our snowmobile campers. They fit about 4. We build these out. This is inside of a school bus that we build. These are fit for couples or for veterans. They're custom built or manufactured straight out. This is a van that I'm currently building that is actually on the lot at this moment.
I believe that's your sister.
Yeah, this is my cat that's Rachel, she was in it. This is a solar system that is actually in an RV that is currently parked in Long Lake. They're at the RV park up there, and this system was installed last year. This is inside a school bus, which is currently on the lot that's getting built out. And this one's going to be being probably within 3 months will be in Baja, Mexico, and will be making its way back to the Adirondacks and the Catskills next year.
Great.
This is another snowmobile camper that we did this past year with a full kitchen, everything, camping accommodations, and water, sewer, and everything attached, just like an RV to RV code. This is an RV, in which we installed a solar system in Florida at a shop. This client was going to come to Speculator, but we didn't have the facility set up at this point.
Okay.
So we ended up having to use a shop in Florida. We installed a full off-grid system, which they are now living full-time in their RV, traveling with this system on a 50 amp service. We also installed gray tanks, water systems, pretty much any type of RV technical work that you would need. Here's another system which was installed inside of a school bus. And then the school bus that was installed in, that we did all the box work, gray water work, tubing, and solar panels on the roof and so forth. And I believe that is the last photo, except for a current RV, which is currently hanging and existing inside the shop at the moment, in which I'm putting a solar system in, and this project will be completed by Thursday, and then that RV will be picked up and gone.
Great.
So I just wanted to just kind of clear the air on what that last meeting was and exactly what's going on over there. I'm really hoping that I can continue to serve the RV community in this area, and that we can, kind of figure out a way that this can really enhance the community, bring a lot of business. I am looking to hire full-time technical jobs in the future.
Terrific.
We are certified in RV tech, and I do have the courses online.
Okay.
And I am looking to try to find local people if I can. As we all know, housing and employment is a bit of an issue.
Yes.
So that's definitely something that I'm also thinking about. So I mean, that's just something that's going to be a battle that I'll be figuring out over the next year or so. But the hope would be is that I can get some high technical jobs in there. We can actually do RV service and also solar installs.
Yeah. No, I think that's terrific. I think the context under which your name was brought up was regarding camping, camping trailers and RVs where people are actually living in them. So there is a very old law on the books that we are now taking it upon ourselves to review and understand a little bit better. And that relates to 3 days of camping on a person's property is fine. Anything over that requires a permit for up to 14 days. And the way the law is written, that after 14 days, that's it. So, and during those 14 days, you need to be able to take care of gray water and sewage, have potable water, garbage, that sort of stuff.
Which we have, and I've asked for a permit from the building inspector and zoning inspector.
Okay.
And have yet to receive a permit to even start the process of trying to understand how we can come to some type of agreement of how we can function this business, help the economy, help business, help employment, and figure out a way that we can still satisfy what the town is looking for.
Right.
So
So are you having people living in your RVs at this time? I mean, RVs are fine.
2978. You'll see rigs over here. We have excavators running. Have there been people on the lot? Yes, but it's been in full abidement to law, so they don't understand why there would be really any issue with what has been going on.
Okay.
Well, and another thing is,
And if you can say your name for the record.
We just we're purchasing Ledley property.
Oh, okay.
This week is a Bolson.
Welcome.
But the problem with what was talked about last week versus now is, so he has somebody here now, he's doing an install. These people, this is their home there. So the next week or week after somebody else comes up there, that 2-week plan is not going to apply. 2 weeks and then you're done on a piece of property.
Right.
And
So
I think that's what we'd like to have addressed there. That for his business there, that will not apply. It wouldn't work there because he has people come here regularly for these solar installs.
And they need to stay.
The couple here right now came all the way from Ontario just for me to install the solar system. I had a previous client a week ago who came from Florida. The previous client before that came from Colorado, and one before that was from Chicago.
right.
So I mean,
So
it's not every.
address when you're looking at into.
It is not every client.
Right.
But we do have clients because these people do live full time with remote work due to COVID. I mean, I have 2 software engineers who currently came in for work. They work fully remote. The one works in Switzerland. The other one works in a whole other country.
Right.
But they live full time or traveling in the US at this point and need work done. So that is something that, will come up, but not everyone. So I do have people drop off rigs.
Right.
And they'll leave them there for 3 weeks. And, I have 2 clients who are going to leave their rigs here all winter. And they're going to pick them up in the spring and, that's it.
Right.
So, I understand that the concerns for the town with, housing, Airbnbs, trailers, and all those things.
Oh, no, it's not even,
Yeah.
it's not even a
It's-
matter of that, Michael. It's a matter of what do the laws say and how do they apply? So at the current time, we can't do something specific for a business and then have a different law for other people.
I mean, we could go for an amendment. We could go for something that would work for the business that would not necessarily
And
apply
that's-
to the rest because it is a commercial lot rather than a residential. So, I mean, that's just an idea that we could throw out there.
Yep.
Something that we can work with.
Right, and that's why we're taking it offline to evaluate it, right? So nothing is set in stone, no violations are being issued. We need to understand what your needs are, what your facilities are, how those things are being managed, you know, as far as the waste and the water and the trash. Yeah.
And I don't know if it was mentioned previously by the building and zoning inspector, but I've already asked if there was a possibility to put an RV dump since there's not one really available except for the campgrounds. Because of my clients, that was a concern. So I've offered that I can do that. I had no response. I asked for a permit to go through that. I also had no response. And it was just a surprise last week that my name came up in the meeting when I got no response from the town in any way to try to respond to that. So that's just why I was here, just to present my business, just because I really felt like it was misunderstood.
Yep. No, certainly appreciate that. If you have a proposal for an RV dump or something that you're looking at that would facilitate your client. Absolutely, absolutely, right. So if you have a proposal or a suggestion that you would like to provide to us as we consider, I think that'd be very helpful. Mark or Cindy or Rebecca, do you have anything to say? I know you didn't see the pictures, they're really quite lovely.
No, can't they dump at Moffett Beach or?
Well,
There's a fee associated with that at Moffett. There you can. But
I'm sorry, if you can introduce who's speaking?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Chris Fuhrer.
Okay.
All right.
All the Fuhrers
Yeah, all the Fuhrers are here. We're represented quite well. Thank you. There is a dump at Moffett Beach, but that does not go into the sewer system. That goes into a, I guess a pit toilet or whatever that gets pumped out or whatever the case may be. But if we were to get an RV dump on this property, which is which is on the sewer system, the community could gain a fee for this, which could offset some of the expenses that we, the taxpayers, have when we pay our water and sewer bills.
Mhm.
So there is a benefit to have an RV dump on this property, to not have to go to Moffett Beach to do it.
Yeah, I
So
have no objection to that. Ed, any comments?
If we can have one conversation at a time, sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's hard to do it when it's online, sorry.
I know. So
I'm asking
one second,
for-
Cindy.
I'm turning it over to Ed. I have
Well,
no.
one second, Cindy had a question.
So if someone is staying on the property currently, where are they dumping?
They don't need to dump because their holding tanks are more than defined for the time period on the zoning permits and everything. So there's really no need because they're not staying in this area. They come, there is no dumping. The 5 days was the last person in which I asked for a permit and did not receive. So, I mean, but I mean, RVs are more than holding tank for more than 3 days. So there's really no need. I'm only offering the idea of a sandy dump and things like that because that appeases the idea of clean
Well, I
sanitation
just
and water.
heard
Also helps.
2 weeks, that's why I was curious, because you really need to dump within 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, 2 weeks would be the permit period on that, what the current law is. So I mean, they would have to leave anyway.
Yeah.
And you can always get a permit from the clerk.
Yeah.
So doesn't have to go through the building officer, the coding officer.
Yeah, I think it says mayor, trustees, zoning building officer, and the town clerk.
Right. Right. So just a question, Mark, you were going to ask Ed?
Yeah, I was just
Ed
going
is
to
our
ask Ed for his comments.
Yeah, I've actually had the same concerns being up here the last 9-10 years. There is nowhere for people that aren't camping to dump. And actually, I could be wrong, but the last time I knew you couldn't dump at Moffitt's unless you were camping there. But maybe I'm wrong. I have contacted DEC about this as possibly having the sewer plant as a dumping station. And due to the type of system we have, it was not advised. Not to say it can't be done, but there's definitely a lot of DEC hoops that I have to jump through in order to do something along those lines.
And what
And
would it
if
be if
you're-
that was on private property?
Well, that's another thing. Like, if a homeowner has a camper and they pull their sewer cap and they dump it in there, I mean, what's it gonna hurt?
But
But-
I'm saying,
Problem.
go ahead.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's no way for me to manage it if it's on somebody else's property. So I don't really know those details. It's too early in the stage to figure that out. But it's definitely something we can discuss in the future.
Okay, yes, Michael.
And I'm not necessarily advising that this needs to be a public dump.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I'm not saying that,
I-
necessarily needs to be a campground dump where everyone needs to come in. It
Yeah.
can just be used just for clients, which might actually be seldom used depending on the clientele and time of year.
Right.
But yeah, that's just something that, it seems like fits with the permit needs. I mean, waste is to really carried by the town. I mean, we get regular trash. We have water and sewer,
Yep.
or working on sewer, as Ed knows, for
Right.
the bathroom in the area. But I mean. in
And
terms of-
potable water?
Yeah, we already have water hooked
Okay.
up. The water's been hooked up. I mean, it was disconnected apparently from the previous owner.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we have running water and there's a sewer pipe already in there. We're working to put a toilet in it currently with that.
Okay, so it sounds like there are a couple of actions for the board and that we'll take, and we'll certainly be in touch with you. I did have your email address
Yeah,
to
just have an email address, yeah.
to contact you. So we will take it offline to evaluate what those options are for a dumping site outside of Moffitt's and what Moffitt's regulations are, whether it's in best interest to have one at your business site or to have one down at the wastewater treatment plant, and then continuing to look at what the camping, what other town, we're not going to reinvent the wheel, but that law has been on there for 30 years, I think.
Yeah,
40 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long, long time, and
Which is
to
what
see
we
if
were
we can-
saying.
Yeah.
is it
Oh, yeah.
out
No,
there?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand
No,
the
yep, and-
changes and the demographics of town. I've been here
Sure.
for long enough to know
Yep.
what's going on.
And people have a
I
lot
just
of
know
beautiful
from-
trailers, and family comes in and it's an extra bedroom and.
I just
right.
know from my end running an RV business.
Yeah.
And meeting with a lot of them, the one thing that I hear from everyone, including the clients that are currently here, is this is not an RV friendly town. That is the phrase that I hear because there is nowhere for these people to be able to do these things. So it's, in my eyes, restricting tourism,
Mhm.
which is kind of an issue for a tourism town.
Sure, yeah. No, so we look to state camps, state campgrounds for that sort of
We
thing,
just
but,
don't have it in the village, and you happen to be in the village.
right,
So that's where the EPA says they want business and commerce. They don't
Right.
want it in Lake Pleasant. They want to center it in the village. And
Right.
that's the purpose of me coming to this village of Speculator,
Yeah.
not going to another town.
right. No, and we're happy that you're here. Good, all right. Well, thank you for
Jeanette?
coming in.
Yep,
Thank you, Fures.
Jeanette, this is Chris again. I just
Yeah.
also, Mike didn't mention this, but the county has an 8% sales tax now, and a portion of that goes back to the community.
No, it does not.
It does not.
No, nothing comes back to the community. We are one of 11 counties where all sales tax does not come back to the individual communities
Well, that's not good for us as a town, but
or a village.
but Michael's business not only does work within the village, he also has a pretty vibrant online business.
Yeah.
And his entire business is run through Hamilton County.
Right,
So, for an economic development of the county, he brings in a pretty good shot of tax dollars. And also the people who do come to his establishment do go out to dinner at Logan's, at Spec Inn, on Oxbow. They spend a lot of money in this community.
so Chris, I will tell you that this board is very supportive of businesses, very trying to be aware and facilitate economic development. So we're not in a position or a mindset, I think, to always say no, but rather to say, let's find a solution.
Yep,
And when we have laws that are so outdated, we need to adjust those accordingly and still maintain the integrity of a village, of a place to live, and encourage tourism. So Mike?
Yep.
I just want to say that my number one phrase that almost everyone who knows me hears is I don't find problems, I find solutions.
Correct.
That is the way I live my life. I don't like finding problems. That's not the answer. Problems never got anything done.
Right.
That is the way I live my life. So I hope that there can be solutions found within how that can all happen and what essentially to finish what he's essentially saying.
Yep. No, absolutely. Absolutely. No. So I thank you for coming in and we'll progress.
And would you want me to email the photos and my?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You want that to go over to the town clerk? I can email it over.
Yeah, you can do it office@villageofspeculator.com. That'd be perfect. Terrific. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else for public comment? Okay, hearing none, we will close public comments. Oh, all right. Well, someone's closing the books.
Froze.
So now we'll go to wastewater treatment. Ed, your plate is full. What's going on? You are on mute.
This is what's moving.
His lips are moving, but nothing's coming out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay, and let me, good night. Thanks for coming in.
I'll start with the water department. As we had discussed previously, well number 1 at the well building has been upgraded to a swing check and soft start. So that is all new. I haven't put it online yet. We were busy today and I didn't want to have too many things going on at once.
One minute.
Um,
Can let me share. Great. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I have a few things on here that I had on last time in inventory of meters and installing those. We are starting to get calls to take meters out, the seasonal ones. I was informed of a leak on Woodward Drive recently by the mayor. And we got to that last Tuesday. We found the leak. It had actually progressively got worse. We turned the water off to the home. I believe it was 107 Woodward Drive. We had made a repair there in the past. However, it broke in a different spot. So the plan was to replace the entire service line from the main to our curb stop, which is across the road. In the process, we broke their sewer lateral. For some reason, it was 2 inches below the water line. So we had to repair that, which led into a late day on Thursday. So we finished that today. There's a brand new service line across the road and the sewer lateral has been repaired. I have advised Roger that we should wait 1 year before we pave that again, just because if there is another problem with our sewer fix or anything, at least we don't have to dig blacktop up again and we're wasting money. So I'd like to get through probably the end of next summer and then we'll pave it in the fall.
Okay.
Just to make sure everything's working and kosher. With Woodward Drive, when we dug that section of the road up today along the edge, we had to cut more blacktop. There are 3 to 4 service lines that all run together. We saw 3 of them. There was a barb fitting and a compression fitting that goes to 109 Woodward, which is down farther, but I believe that's going to run right under the pavement along the edge of the road. So I have marked that and mapped it so that if there is ever a problem in the future, at least we know the exact location and can go from there. And if I'm assuming that in the future that line will have to be done, but you don't really know.
Okay.
The main repair was scheduled for tomorrow, but it looks like it's going to be a washout. Wednesday, I have to pick up one of my children from school early, so I won't be able to do it that day. And I'm trying to do it earlier in the week so that when we have our boil water, I get it back on a Thursday or Friday and not on a weekend, so I can lift that. Not that it's as critical as it was, a month ago, because there's less people in town.
So just for
So
clarification, this is the main on Route 8.
Yes, the one that has been sitting there all
Good to
summer. It just didn't make sense for me to do a boil water with as busy as we are. And as we slow down, it makes it easier to do boil water. Sometimes I can bypass them depending on how many people are in their homes and based on DOH law. So that's not going to be the case here, but so that'll be scheduled for next week, hopefully Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. There was another leak at the cemetery, which we had repaired. Expenditures, I did purchase quite a bit from Ferguson Waterworks. I want to have extra wraps and stuff on hand because it seems like materials are starting to get harder to come by, especially when it comes to brass and stuff. So I purchased extra curb stops and things like that. I didn't put it on here. Sorry about that.
Nope, that's fine.
Then we're gonna have our bills from W2 Operator Group for the upgraded swing check and valving and stuff they had to do, and then also from Aqualogics for the soft start. And then that should be it for that. The grant for the generator that we applied for, which we should hear about in about January, the HMGP grant through FEMA.
Yep.
Brendan actually did get a response back from them for questions,
Great.
which is kind of a good sign in his eyes. This does apply for sewer as well, but I'll touch on that in a minute. So we're gonna hope for the best and hopefully we can get a new generator out of it.
Do you know what kind of
as for-
questions were being asked?
What's that?
Do you know what type of questions were being asked?
I
No.
do not.
Okay, that's
No,
fine.
it was probably just specific things, little things here and
Okay.
there. So as for projects for water, we always have some projects like our water meters and stuff like that, but the FEMA water crossing, which has been in the works for a couple of years now, the drawings are completed. Brendan and I are going to review those next week, and then hopefully it'll go out to bid, but we're doing a bid with sewer for the pump station just to kind of keep everything more in sync.
Yep.
And that's it for water, unless anybody has any questions for water.
Anybody have any questions? No? Okay.
As for wastewater department, the outside plant's been offline. We're starting to pump that over now. There were a couple things we had to deal with the pump. We're also pumping sludge out back into our drying beds, but the pumps aren't. We put VFDs on them, but it doesn't seem their size the same as the old one, but it's not working exactly correctly. I did find a way to do it through recirculating and stuff, which is kind of a pain, but we're making it work for now until we can figure out what's going on. Brendan seems to think that the VFDs might not actually be working correctly, but he's got to look at the book and we'll hopefully figure something out.
So I'm sorry, what does that do with the VFDs?
They're called variable frequency drives. They basically allow a duty motor to ramp up or down to pump faster or slower.
Okay, and that is presently not working. You're doing a workaround on that?
Well, they're working, but they may not be working exactly the way they're supposed to work. So Lenny seems to think they're going slower. I don't know if they are. I didn't really pay too much attention. I'm just trying to get the sludge to work right,
Okay.
So it's definitely everything at the plant is gonna kind of a new learning curve. Everything's kind of new, so we're still trying to figure all that out.
Okay,
As for the I&I study, American Underground has completed their part, which we have bills for, which I believe we've paid. I think we did about 15,000 feet of camera work, and we did, I don't know, maybe, I can't remember how much heavy cleaning. The village has never actually had a true sewer cleaning done, and American Underground took care of quite a bit of it while they were here and doing that camera work as present on the bills, as you can see. But based on the information that I've received from them, most of our issues are actually deteriorated manholes in the village. That's obviously not something that we can do. Well, we could do, but we'd have to have confined space equipment and all kinds of stuff. Basically, the way to fix these is somebody comes in, they drill holes, they inject with an epoxy, and then they recoat the inside of the manholes. But that's something later on. Once we get our manhole inspections completed, hopefully this year, we'll send all this data to Brendan and he can create a report, and then we can apply for grants to get this stuff done.
okay,
And as we've discussed in the past. The tractor had to be sent back to H&M once again. The sensor for the DPF system did not work, even though it regen while it was there, and then we picked it up. I had to regen it within 4 hours of using it. It it needs a whole new regen system. I have not heard a price on that yet, but we need our tractor. So one way or another, it needs to be fixed.
How
The
old is the
manholes on Route 8. What's that?
How old is the tractor?
The 2014 Coyote 45 horsepower.
Okay. Thank you.
We've actually, I personally won't buy a Coyote again, but that's besides the point.
Okay.
The manholes on Route 8, which I'm sure you've seen, we've actually cut or dug up. So during the I&I study, we only uncovered every other manhole, but we will be taking every manhole that has been cut on Route 8 and raising them to the appropriate level and paving those this year. Hopefully, if depending on tomorrow and the weather, we'll probably start, but we'll have to play it by ear because we have to use mortar, and if it's pouring, it's just going to wash our mortar out.
Yep.
Expenditures for sewer, those manhole risers, the mortar for those manhole risers, and a few other things. The upgrade project kind of went on standstill. The majority of it's done. Now it's SCADA, DO system, things like that. Been trying to get a purchase order from Miller's to have somebody come and finish the things that are needed for Aqualogics to do it. But as you know, there was some concern on payment and so on and so forth, which is not on the village, but the village did do everything they could to get them paid.
Yeah.
So now that is happening, hopefully we can move forward and get this completed because I'm ready for it to be at least be able to check one off the list, you know.
Good. And that
That's
is
kinda
in
where
our
I'm at.
abstract. There is a significant payment in the abstract for them.
Yes, and I thank you for that, and I agree that it should be paid. Yeah, so as I had said, for the FEMA project in Pump Station 2, that has the design work's been done. I'm going to review it with Brendan, and then it'll go out to bid with the water crossing. We're awaiting a response for the disinfection grant. That's going to take a little time, as all these grants do. However, they are asking us, DC is asking us for more design things that generally wouldn't be done quite yet. So I'm going to be sending a sample out to, I don't know who the company is. I can't remember at this point. Just an effluent sample that's going to be sent out. They check turbidity, things like that to see what type of UV system we need. So that design part that generally isn't needed may be a good sign. Maybe they're just making sure we're ahead of the game. So when we do get the grant, we can just move right forward with it and get it built. Because our deadline for that's 2024, I believe, based on the letter they sent 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Time flies, so I don't really remember at this point. And then once again, that HMGP grant that was applied for, not only did they ask for questions on the water, but they also asked for questions on the wastewater. We didn't really think we scored very well for that grant. So we had previously discussed moving forward and purchasing a generator and getting it out of the way.
Yep.
Honestly, at this point, it's like 6 to 8 months to get the generator anyways. January is really not that far away. I know it seems like it is, but it's really not. So I'm waiting to hear. Brendan has contacted them to see if we can get reimbursed if we move forward or not.
Okay.
But we haven't heard anything back. If we can get reimbursed, then we should just move forward and do it. If we get the grant, then we get to pay that back. If we don't, no harm, no foul, because we already kind of agreed to go with the generator. But we don't really want to move forward without knowing that, you know. So we'll just have to see. If they say no, but then we may get the grant, then it's like, do we wait till January? It's just something we're gonna have to play by ear and see what they say if they get back to Brendan on that.
Okay. No, sounds good.
And that's it, I believe.
All right. I did have.
We had a lot of things going on, but
No, a lot of moving parts, and I think that all of them are going in the right direction. So And I'm glad that we've got another person on board that can take some of that pressure off and help with those projects.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the weather holds out a little longer. That's all.
Yeah, well, yeah, and tomorrow's going to be bad, but I think the rest of the week is good. So
Yes.
two questions from me, Ed. One is, how is the schooling for J.R. Rust going? Is he going to school? Is he up for a license?
I've looked into the courses. He has his water license, as you know.
Yes.
His sewer license, I wrote it down, but I don't have it in front of me. When the courses are, because he can either do it online or do it at school. I think he just decided he was just going to get a 1A license. I would like to have some more discussion about this, but maybe not right at a meeting.
Okay. So we
if
can
we
talk
can-
offline about that.
Yes, if you'd like, yes.
Yep. Yes. Yes, I would like that. And the other question that I have is that I got numerous reports this summer that the smell from the wastewater treatment plant was worse than in years past. Is that part of the new system coming online or something strange happening?
all I can say, because I've discussed this numerous times, is look up aerobic digestion, digesters for biosolids and sludge, and it's going to explain to you why it smells. It is obnoxious, but I will say that we now have a 65,000 gallon biosolids container in the backyard that is not covered. So if I am to decant that, you have 8 times the volume as I had in the past, which can definitely produce some obnoxious smells. We don't have a way to burn off any of that stuff like anaerobic digestion. And so it's something, if people really want to get technical about it, they can look it up online. The smells are kind of normal.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a question on whether the smells are normal. The question is, can they be contained? So is that something that we can put a lid on it?
So not really, because then you're going to go to anaerobic digestion.
Loose lid.
This is one thing I have suppliers come and they say, oh, I have this stuff that'll make things smell a lot better. Well, I can't really swear on here, but poop smells like poop and sweet poop smells like worse poop, in my opinion. So I can add things to make it sweeter, but
can we put a little potpourri on top that kind of makes a film? I know that wouldn't make it very aerobic, but
yeah, I mean, all I can say is the only thing that I can do to reduce the smell is not decant. But not decanting means that my biosolids are going to be much thinner, which makes them harder to process.
Right.
And at some point I have to do it because I'm going to run out of room.
Right.
We had a really extremely busy summer this year. We've wasted 60 minutes. So, let me just, I don't know. What's 60 times 200, or let's see. I don't know. Off the top of my head. We wasted a lot this year. In compared to some years, especially the last couple of years, because of COVID, we just didn't have the volume coming into the wastewater plant to produce that. So yeah, if I run out of room, I have to decant, and if I don't decant, then process screws up. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. There's not too much I can do about it. I honestly didn't think the smell was much worse than any other year, but that's me. I guess I live in it, so I don't really notice it as much.
Yeah, some locals were saying that, they had to keep their windows shut, couldn't sit outside. It was
Mark,
pretty bad this year.
Mark, did your neighbors have any issues this year? Remember last year they had some issues?
No, I heard next to the hotel they had some issues, but I never smelled anything. So.
And Jim,
Yeah.
What about you? You're close there as well? Just a little? Okay, I know the lady who lives right next door had really difficult.
Yeah, so here's the problem too. I mean, you have a 60, 70,000 gallon tank, and her her bedroom window is probably 25 yards from it.
Yeah,
And there's a fence there. So yeah, it's going to probably be an issue in the future as well. And I apologize, but there's not much I can do about it.
okay. All right, so we'll keep our eyes open in case there's something that that happens with that. Okay, Jim? You're on mute.
Thank you, Ed.
Yes. Thank you, Ed.
All right.
There is a question, Ed, what is the diameter of the sewer covers and how much do they need to be raised? Mr. Fuhr has a contact with a precast company that may have precast rings that could possibly be used to decrease the need for extensive mortar or concrete work.
Yeah. Yeah, anywhere from, it just depends where in the village. I would say the majority of them are 26-inch manholes. However, I get my concrete, the precast concrete down south, and anything that's a drop-in riser, I don't go over 6 inches or stack more than 3. Some of the manholes that we have are 8 inches, 10 inches deep on Route 8. So I'll only ever have to do it once. And then if I have to do it again, it'll be a drop-in until somebody way farther in the future.
Yeah, Lamont Engineering.
But I will take that contact. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that should be given to Lamont Engineering, because once they review all the information they gathered, they'll make the decision on the best way to, the most economical way they can repair the manholes.
Terrific. So Chris, Chris Fuhr, if you would, if you would be able to pass along that contact to the village clerk, we will contact them. And if it's something that we need to use your name or whatever, we're happy to do that. And thank you.
You'll have it in a moment.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions for Ed? All right, Ed, keep up the good work. Thank you.
We will try.
Good, good. All right, thank you. All right, so there is, have a good night and hello to Miles there. He's a cutie. Okay, so I do have on there about the ban, and that's the short-term loan, and we'll do that during the clerk's report, which will be now. There you go.
We'll do that at the end.
At the end of the report, yes.
So fall training school started today. I'll be attending tomorrow through Thursday. Tracy will be here at the office. Late notices for taxes were sent out at the end of last week. 15 properties are still unpaid. That's about $22,000 left to be collected. A final notice will be sent the first week of October before the remainder of those unpaid are re-levied to the county in November.
Okay.
With transitioning into the calmer time of the year, Tracy and I will be jumping into some of the non-priority tasks that we have on our lists, like the dictations and transcriptions for the meetings that we've had to have on Zoom and continue to have on Zoom. Going back into the records room for organization, as far as going through files that are stacked up back there that we still have to look through, and scanning minutes. I currently have between 1925 and 1962 completed, so that's pretty good.
Fantastic.
Amount of time, amount of chunk of the minutes that are scanned in currently. Still a lot to do. I think we have up until, like, we looked today, I think it was 2005 we have to do up until, so there's still quite a few years left. And then I have a resolution for just a budget adjustment for the well pump repair that Ed discussed. As we all should remember, pump number 1 at the well building was unoperational, and in need of repair, and the board approved, upgrades to it as well, so that it was, all current, I would be able to explain that much better. Anyways, those upgrades and repairs were completed by W2 operators, which we're paying in this abstract, and Aqualogics. The cost of the repairs and the upgrades were not solidified at the time of budgeting. This is when we first started talking about it. So the board approved $15,000 to be budgeted into contingencies, knowing that a part of that would be for the tank repairs. Or the pump repairs. So the following changes just need to be made. We need to decrease the contingent fund. I'm suggesting $12,000 because we have a sufficient amount to cover the rest of, to cover the remainder above that within the code already, that we budgeted. To move the $12,000 from contingent to, the water account F8320.2, which is source of supplies, power, and pump equipment, to cover all of those costs.
All right. So, any questions? Oh, well, let me have a motion first to pass the resolution to move 12,000 in contingency funds into the appropriate water equipment lines for the upgrade and repair to the pump station.
So moved.
Mark, second. Cindy, any questions or comments with that? I think that still leaves us with a little bit of money in contingency funds. It doesn't wipe it out totally, but it does address what needs to be done. Okay, so all in favor of approving that resolution, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, good. And the next is the abstract. Or do you want to go to the ban?
You can do whichever you'd like to.
All right, let's do the ban since we're doing all sorts of things. Okay. Long ago and in a faraway place, there was there it is. So in 2018, June of 2018, the village board at the time, under the direction of former Mayor Pastella, they entered into agreements regarding bonds and bans with Hodgson and Russ to cover the water and the wastewater upgrade program. And under that was the ability to have a ban, BAN, which is a short-term loan. So what it is, the total project of the upgrade was pretty ambitious at $2.45 million. We had a DASNY grant for $500,000, and we funded through New York State SEFC funding for the remaining $1.95 million, which is approximately 25% of the grant. And the rest goes into 0% interest for 30 years, which is great. So we did have short-term financing through EFC for the first $1 million, and that has now run out, and now it kicks into us required to have a short-term loan, which is the ban, until the bond kicks in. So that ban will cover $950,000 until we close the long-term bond with EFC, which should be by the end of the year? Mm-hmm. By the end of the year. Okay. So if you will recall, that was sent out for bid. We only had one response from NBT, and that was at a rate of 3.15% for the $950,000 one-year non-callable ban with local closing. From what we understood from Brendan was there was a late person, verbal offer only, saying, oh my gosh, we missed it. Yes, we would like to put in a bid comparable, not a huge amount of difference. However, it was not in on time. It was not submitted in writing. And in order to entertain that, we would have to reject the NBT ban ban offer, bid it. And in our current interest rates, that's been going up quite substantially. We have decided that we will accept the MBT ban and move forward. So at this time, I would like a motion to formally approve the MBT ban for $950,000 at a rate of 3.15%. Mark, and second?
Jim,
Cindy or Jim?
Yeah, Jim, that's one.
Okay, Jim raises his hand. I see that thumb. All right, any questions or comments on that? No, hearing nothing or seeing nothing. All in favor of accepting the MBT bid, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries, unanimous. All right, thank you. And now I would like a motion to approve abstract number 7. So I believe Jim is out of town. Jim and Rebecca are out of, Rebecca signed
I
it.
came in before I left.
Thank you. Okay, so may I have a motion to accept abstract number 7 and pay those bills?
So moved.
Rebecca, and second? Jim, thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All,
Jim.
all opposed, say no. Anyone abstain? Jim abstains. Jim abstains, so that means we have to back it up.
Yeah, that's what I wondered about.
Cindy,
that.
so Cindy Rumsey approves paying the bills. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any abstentions? Jim. Okay, so that passes. Thank you. Okay, under old business, COVID update.
I'm actually going to.
Excuse yourself.
Good night, everybody.
Yes, good night to the children.
Yes, thank you.
Good. All right. Terrific. No COVID updates, and if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to remove that from
Thank
old
you.
business. Thank you very much.
We can always bring it back if we need to.
Oh, please, God, no. Nothing on the FEMA COVID update. I think that's, again, something that we need to chase down. Mark and I have to get together and go through the septic system and get back with our lawyers on that. Rebecca is, I don't think you've had your first meeting yet for short-term rentals.
No, we have not.
Okay, so that's fine. We did receive a letter that I sent to the board
I saw
from Mr. Osborne. So thank you, Mr. Osborne, for your input and your thoughts there that have been shared. Consolidation of the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals. That is set. That's under development and will be sent to the lawyers.
no, I heard there was people that requested to be on both boards. So why wouldn't we elect them to be on the boards and stay the same we are?
Well, I think it's a matter of efficiency. Part of it, so it's not only the number of people who are volunteers who are willing to serve. All of them need to be evaluated and looked at. And I think it's a matter of efficiency, Mark, because right now the ZBA, it meets very infrequently. And to mandate having 3 people on it who are required to have training annually and not use that, I think that's a big ask for people. That's my opinion.
No, it just, no, people were interested in, to join both boards. There looks like there was experience on, for both positions. So I was just wondering.
I think we still, we have people that are sufficient if we combine the board with alternates. So the question then becomes, if we continue to have a planning board and a ZBA, you're having at least 3 people who are not keeping up to date or not meeting and are still required under training principles to be trained. So I think that's a big ask for people to be available for 3-year stints. That's my opinion. And I think that when we have the ZBA and the planning board together, they can be more efficient. They're up to speed on issues.
What's the number of people that are on the board?
There are 5.
Combined?
So combined, we would have 7.
Yeah, so there should be opportunities for people to serve.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, just want you to know Jim is having battery issues and may lose us.
Okay. All right. There are no more decisions, Jim. So if you cut out, we will understand. Okay, so we did the ban. So as far as Macomas Fire Tower update, we are the recipients of 3 citations. So the first is from New York State Assembly from Robert Smullen, giving congratulations to the village of Speculator on the restored fire tower. So he came and spoke at our ribbon cutting. The next one is from a certificate of merit from Senator Tedesco upon the occasion of putting up the Macomas Tower. And then from the United States Congress, House of Representatives from Elise Stefanik, we have the village certificate of special congressional recognition presented to the village upon relocating the Macomas Fire Tower, reconstructing the historic structure in Sacandaga Park, and ensuring the continued enjoyment of the Adirondacks. So we'll have those framed and put up somewhere. So as far as the update for the Macomas Tower, it was opened on September 1st. We were part of Light Up the Night commemorating Fire Tower Watchers. On September 3rd, I think there were a total of 35 who participated. A lot of people came out to both events, which was really great. A lot of good feedback for that. Tomorrow, the fencing company is coming to put on an electronic lock onto the gate, and it will serve as a time lock. So for the last almost 2 weeks, it has been manually opened and closed. 6:30 comes pretty early when you have to run down there and open it, but it's gotten a lot of good feedback. 2 suggestions that have been made is that we have a sign-in book. I did contact DEC about that. They will not give us a book to do that, so we have to do our own because it's not on state property. They will give us a blueprint, if you will, plans on how to make their little kiosk. If someone chooses to do that, we'll do that. And then another suggestion that came in was to fix a donation box. So some folks were saying, yeah, we'd like to give, some money to preserve the tower. And I think that as we go forward to have some benches down there or some tables, the picnic tables that have been out there have been used while, people go up and down the towers, and the feedback has been really positive. There is a Macomas Tower Facebook page, and I believe we're approaching 165 people who are on that page for updates. There was just a recent article put in September 7th, I think was the most recent one, from Kim Dedham, who's written quite a bit about fire towers over the years and has quite a passion for that. And I was informed by Roost that there's a blogger who is putting something down with the Macomas Tower this month as well. So when that comes through, I will forward it.
Jeanette, another recommendation would be to put up some more signage, climb the fire tower, where the restrooms go, and as you're coming into town, because if you drive by, you really don't even see the fire tower. So we want people to climb it, and we need more signs on Speculator signs.
Okay, are you talking brown and gold signs or something?
Yeah, it could be the same. Roger could, tell you what he needs and he could order them. I just want to make sure people know the fire tower is there and that they climb it.
Yep.
Are we getting, what's the
Historical
Department's supposed to get one of those signs or something like that.
for history.
No, not the history, but like for the fire department, like Wells has where it's a lighted sign. Didn't we talk about that?
They had talked about it.
They didn't do it.
They didn't do
Okay.
it.
Yeah, okay, that's what.
Right.
Because I mean, that would be something we could put on there if we had gotten it, but I wasn't sure where that went.
Yeah, okay, so Mark, if you want to make a suggestion on where those signs should go, we can ask Roger to have some of those made up. And then we did want to apply to the National Historic Register to get the fire tower on there as well.
I'll take a look tomorrow and send out an email.
Terrific. All right, we will do that. So I do know that Trustee Smith is at NICOM. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty well. They're having a good attendance. There's over 100 people that have never been before as first
Yeah.
timers, and there's over 300, 400 people today. So more coming tomorrow. So
Terrific, terrific. So at our next meeting, we'll have you give us some feedback on that.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Jeanette, I think Linda has her hand up. I'm
Oh.
seeing the hand up.
Sorry. Well, it's
Yep.
actually Chris.
It's actually Chris. I just want to say, Jeanette, that the fire tower, I believe, is a great asset to the village. As you and I have spoken
Yep.
earlier, for my wife who will never climb a mountaintop to go on a fire tower. She was thrilled to be able to finally experience what we do when we do, go up to Snowy or Blue or Owl's Head or whatever it is.
Terrific.
So I just want to tell you that that's a great asset for the village. For people who just won't be able to or don't hike, those mountains.
Right, right.
So hats off to you, to John Lane, and everyone else, who made that come to fruition. It's a nice asset. And
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback.
Mhm. And I also sent you the information.
Oh, terrific. Thank you. Is there anything else with respect to board roundtable? Anything else going on? I would like to do a quick executive session for the concluding matters regarding the Excelsior fire towers. There are a few things to discuss there under executive session. And then, so Shorty and Chris, is there anything for last public comment before you're excused? Shorty Hoffman is speaking. Robert?
Will I be knocked off?
Yeah, you'll be knocked off as well, Chris.
No,
Now, how about me, Jim Rumsey?
Oh, Jim, no, you won't be knocked off.
sorry.
So go ahead, Shorty, I'm sorry.
I got a question a few meetings back. Ed keeps talking about a new generator.
Yes.
And he mentioned one time a diesel generator. And I think if he goes diesel, he's making the biggest mistake he could ever make. Because the new diesel generators have regen systems on them, the same as that little tractor they had. And when a generator has a problem, it shuts down. And you have to have factory rep come in and service it to get it back online. That little tractor, when the regen system monkeys up, you can limp it back to the station where you started from. But the generator, when it goes into limp mode, then it shuts down. And I know one outfit that has 2 diesel generators. And in the last few years, they've had $5,000 worth of service calls
Okay.
on the generator. So if there's propane down there right now, and propane is your cleanest burning as far, and you don't have to service them. The diesel, you got fuel filters, you got all that other stuff. So you're better off if you have propane now, stay with propane.
Yep.
And especially with the cost of diesel fuel today, it just keeps going up and up. And
Yep. Thank you.
but
Thanks, Joe.
Like I said, it would be a mistake to go diesel. Then you gotta put in the whole new tank for fuel.
Yep,
And you got propane down there now.
thanks.
Thank you. Really, I put some serious.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Shorty. That's great.
And if you got a half a minute, I'll show you why we live in Speculator, then you'll get out of your hair. Might take you a minute. What we got?
What, you're gonna show us something?
I'm gonna show you something quick. That's why we live in Speculator.
Oh, why we live, okay, why do we live in Speculator?
This is why we live in Speculator.
Picture.
Yes.
Shorty's going high tech on us today.
Really?
This was Saturday night.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
Saturday was a pretty night. Felt like you're under a puffy cloud.
That is gorgeous.
Go to the next one, there's 14 of them.
Oh, all right, we're flipping through. Wow, wow.
The one there.
Shorty, you never send me anything. These are
The
gorgeous.
one looked like a forest fire in the background.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're stunning.
That's beautiful.
What kind of
Oh,
camera did you take these on?
The tablet you're holding?
Oh,
really?
nice.
It's gorgeous.
Oh,
Oh, I like that one.
absolutely
Yeah.
stunning. Did you run up the tower to take a picture?
No, I run down to the point. They're on the dock, took a couple up the dock.
Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you,
That's why
Shorty.
we live here.
Yep, that's it. And our neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Shorty. Appreciate you.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Okay, so everybody has to get off here.
Yep. So, Chris, thank you for participating and thank you for your input. Certainly appreciate it. You should be able to do the 3 buttons or something. Yep. All right.
Is the recording stopped?
And stop the recording. No, recording is still going. Well, let's do a motion to go into executive session. Cindy, second. Rebecca, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries, going into executive session at 8:07.